Have you ever wondered why some people seem just to attract wealth? Like they've got the golden touch, whatever it is that they do, and yet simultaneously, there's some people out there that just seems to get by over and over, year after year, on and on again. Well, it's not by luck, and it's not just hard work. It's all about how you think about money. So today we're gonna break down the top 5 ways rich people think about money compared to the middle class, and how you can start applying these principles today to transform your financial future. Trust me, this will change the way you look at every dollar you earn. Now let's take, for example, Jay-Z. He just didn't make his money rapping. He changed how he thought about money. While many artists in his peer group focused on immediate paychecks from record deals, Jay-Z thought like an investor. He built businesses like Rocawear, Tidal, and invested in champagne brands and tech startups. Today, he's not just a rapper. He's a billionaire. The difference? While others spent their earnings, Jay-Z grew his wealth by focusing on value creation and long-term growth. Now, you may not be the next Jay-Z, but what if you could start thinking differently about money the way he and other wealthy people do? So in this video, I'll share not only how their mindset differs, but how you can have actionable steps, how you can take moves right now, that you can move closer to financial freedom. So let's get started in this episode of the 7-Figure Squad, starting in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Let's get this money. Those dollar bills getting this on out of. Let's get this money. 1 year, better know I'm on it.
What's cracking, everybody? Money Smart Guy, Matt Sapaula here, hailing to you from Dallas, Texas, and I love this topic. If you want to change your life, how you think things will change the way you see things. If you change the way you see things, it'll change the way you do things. If it changes the way you do things, it's going to change the results that you're able to receive and experience in your life. So let's dive into it. Number 1, money is a tool versus money is a necessity. See, rich people view money as a tool for creating opportunities and investing in assets and things that bring them more money. Now, the middle class, they see money as something to pay bills and maintain a comfortable lifestyle. And if they don't have enough, they just put that money in a credit card. You see, the rich people don't think about trying to please other people. They worry about their business plan. They worry about their game. We invest back into that instead of trying to please other people, impress other people that don't pay their bills and that have no immediate impact in their life anyway. Your choice on how to think in this regard. Second key difference. The rich people focus on value creation. Middle class focus on time for money. You see, the rich prioritize creating value and leveraging resources to scale wealth. Now, the middle class, all they're worried about is clocking in, clocking out, trading time for dollars, commission here, commission here. I got to focus in my deal. And that's all they think about. They focus on hourly wages, biggest, fattest commission checks, and that's how they earn their living. Rich people say, you know what? If I can create value, if I can find a product or a service that saves people time, improves people's quality of life, helps provide a value to other people, and people want to buy that service or product, that's how rich people get rich. I'll give you an example. This morning I was on a coaching call, and this property and casualty insurance agent's discussing to me the problems he's having selling property and casualty insurance because the premiums are going high and people can't seem to afford a lot of homeowners insurance or car insurance, so they're shopping him around to other competitors. And I'm coaching him how to scale his agency. And I noticed that one of our workshops, he didn't show up. I said, bro, we had a workshop for you to scale your business from a 1-man operation to go to a 5 to 10 to 15, 20-man operation, but you weren't there. He replies by saying, well, Matt, I was focused on my next deal because I got a lot of money on the table. This is exactly how the middle class think. They think about a transaction, the one sale, the one small short-term thing versus think about the bigger picture. And on top of that, what we discussed was lack of time management and lack of priorities. At the top of his list is how do I continue to create value and stay locked in to the vision I'm looking to create without being saddled in the day-to-day activities of having to pay the bills. Now, that's important. You have to do that. But if you're going to scale to a 1-man operation, to a 5-man operation, to a 10-man operation, you got to focus on larger value creation, not just a singular transaction or commission check because of the hours that you can spend at the workshop to help you grow your business. A lot of people get wrapped up in that dilemma, and it's so annoying. Like, I know how to get out of this corner. This is a painted corner I'm in. I need to get out of it. But it's that same painted corner and the same mindset that got them there. So until you change that way of thinking, you'll always be stuck in that corner. Which leads me to 3 key difference of rich people versus the middle class. See, rich people focus on long-term thinking versus middle class focus on short-term thinking. The rich people think about terms of long-term investments and compound growth. Middle class focus on immediate needs and expenses and how I can make money right now. And oftentimes, where do you find a lot of middle-class people gambling, trying to throw all the money into crypto, trying to throw the money into this one hot stock, trying to throw money into one thing. So therefore, this is my lottery ticket. This is my opportunity without really understanding and researching what it is that their money is going into. They don't look at the risks. They don't look into the what ifs. They don't look into the details. And because they don't look into the long-term aspects of it, they tend to lose more money than what rich people do. Now, with that being said, a lot of people have lost their money and gotten their riches by making those same mistakes. But it's an evolutionary process. It's not an instant thing that most people think. Now, I remember I was having a heated discussion with my social media team at one point because naturally I'm older and I've got this business and my social media team is hungry and they're aggressive and they want to get out there and they're so mad at me when I get involved in crypto early on. They get so mad at me about not transforming our 7-figure squad into an NFT because it gave me, when I was looking at crypto, when I look at NFTs, now this is before the latest craze and boom, the last 90 days of crypto, the last 90 days of Bitcoin. Because remember this, crypto went up like this, shot up, and then boom, throughout the pandemic, it was flat, losing, and then it just exploded just recently. And people forget about these valleys. People only remember the peaks. And I remember .com bubble 01. I remember the 07, 08, 09 Great Recession, where the years before that, people said real estate, mortgages. And even I was thinking about getting out of the insurance industry to get involved in mortgages. But the rich people thinking came in and said, listen, insurance and retirement services is more of a long-term play. Real estate and mortgage commissions go up and down. Now, when it's great, it's great. When it's bad, it's really bad. Insurance is like boom, boom, boom. It's just a consistent first base, second base, first base, second base, first base. Eventually, you might hit a triple. Eventually, you might hit a home run. But it's constantly, every day, every year, every month, it's stepping up to the plate. And from a revenue standpoint, consistency standpoint, you can make ends meet because you got constant business flowing in. Real estate people are always up and down, always up and down. And I ask myself this too as well. How do I build something long-term? So therefore, when I spend another decade in whatever it is that I'm doing, that I can take a look back and say, I'm proud of what I have to show for because I got something to show for. My entire 20s, I look back on what my 20s to 30s was to show for. I had nothing to show for. I had everything to owe for. Family court, child support, debt, bankruptcy, all these different things. I had spent my entire 30s repairing the mistakes of my 20s. And by the way, a big pinnacle part of me changing my life is following my faith, finding a renewed love with my relationship with Jesus Christ. And I said, you know what, God, if I did it my way and screwed it up so bad, okay, God, I'm going to try it your way. Now, that was 21 years ago. And praise God, my life has never been the same. It's changed from an emotional standpoint. It changed from a mental health standpoint. It changed from a financial standpoint. It changed from a marital standpoint, how I raise my kids standpoint, my impact, my purpose. Everything has been exponential because I started thinking long term. And to me, thinking about my faith and putting in that relationship as primary in my life, with my relationship with Jesus, my relationship with my faith, it allowed me to prioritize everything else. Once this vertical relationship got established, and it was a long-term type of connection established here in terms of relationship type connection, my horizontal earthly relationships started to improve. Doors and windows started to open. Certain people that shouldn't be in my life got removed. They got replaced by people that should. And so long-term thinking versus short-term thinking is a big thing because a lot of people don't like dealing with the temporary pain and frustration and sometimes the isolation that's required necessary to prune the things that aren't required to be in your life to eventually replace them with the people and circumstances and experiences that are. Number 4, key difference in how rich people think versus middle class. Risk tolerance versus risk avoidance. There's a big difference. Let me explain. Rich people embrace calculated risk to grow wealth. Middle class avoid risk and prefer safety and stability. Oh my gosh, fear. And by the way, we're about to do a video here to reestablish what the parable of the talents talked about because there's 3 different servants that were given money by their master. He was going on a trip. He gave them money as a test to see what they would do with the money that he bestowed upon them to entrust them with. So therefore, when he came back, he wanted to see what happened. Well, risk tolerance versus risk avoidance. Rich people say, you know what? If I'm going to gamble, it's not going to be in the casinos. It's not going to be in Vegas. It's going to be on me. I remember interviewing Deion Sanders a few years ago, and he remember his statement he shared with me. Listen, I asked him, I said, Coach Prime, what's the greatest financial investment you've ever made? You're a professional athlete, you're a coach, you're a father, you've established a lot of great things in your life. What's the greatest financial investment you ever put your money in? Because we're in the insurance business. I'm wondering if it was investments, insurance, real estate, whatever. You know what he said? Listen, man, my greatest bet, I go down to the casino and I put my money and bet on 21 Black. That's not a literal thing. That's a story. basically saying that I bet on me because his football number is 21. And obviously, Coach Prime, he's black. So he bets on himself. So what are you doing to bet on yourself? Are you betting on your boss to take you to the next promised land? You're betting on an inheritance. You're betting on the lottery. Potentially, are you betting on your 401k or are you betting on you? Because if you're going to bet, if you're going to gamble, and not the casino, it's not going to be the casinos. If you're going to gamble, it's going to be a situation where you know the odds of success. And here's the thing too. You control the odds and the variables for your success. One thing I realized in terms of getting rich is that getting rich is simply a formula. Simply a formula. It's not necessarily talent. I've seen so many people lacking talent, lacking speaking skills. They don't even have a podcast. You wouldn't find them on stage voluntarily. But boy, do they have beautiful businesses, passive income, multi-deca, $100 million, $200 million net worth. And the conversation with them, like, what, you talk like this and your net worth is $200 million? You talk like this, you're a billionaire? I can't believe it. You don't even comb your hair. You wear the same things. You don't drive a fancy car. Right? All of these things that we thought that rich people do in terms of taking on risk is completely opposite. Matter of fact, people who are rich take on the greatest risks. And here's the thing I would say as a detriment what's going on in society today. They are villainizing billionaires. I remember Howard Schultz, CEO of Starbucks, he was calling out Congress, says, what's this thing about you guys having this thing against billionaires? Here's the thing. I was raised on federal government aid. Nobody gave me anything. I talked to a small coffee shop called Starbucks in Seattle, Washington, and they created a mega enterprise out of it. Yes, he deserves to be rich. He deserves to be a billionaire. Do you know why? Because he earned it. Nobody gave it to him. Now, I get when people inherit money and they do nothing, squander it, they just flaunt it. I could see why you may not like them. But somebody like a Jeff Bezos, who learned how to leverage money, borrowing from family and friends. A Howard Schultz, who got turned down hundreds of times by investors, expand his coffee company. Now, you don't even call it, hey man, you don't say, let's go get some coffee. Let's say, let's go get some Starbucks. Now, you know that's a brand. And he built that brand. So you and I say, let's go get some Starbucks. And many other people say, let's go get some Starbucks. But that's the difference between people who just say safe, secure. I was just sharing with my team last night. I wrote letters to my parents in 1998, 1999 on my AOL email address. And on the AOL email address, my father was telling me, listen, man, your greatest asset is building it on education. This is 1998, 1999. I said, Dad, you don't understand my situation. I agree with you that education is a very, very good way to build my financial house. I just went through a divorce, went through bankruptcy. He's like, he's kind of giving me a gut punch. It's time for you to rebuild your house, but make sure you rebuild your house on a foundation of education. I totally get it, and I agree. Here's my situation. My situation is that I'm a single father. I've got kids. I don't have 4 years right now to go get a college degree. In the meantime, how do I pay the bills? In the meantime, how do I feed my family? In the meantime, how do I put a roof over our heads and food on the table without depending on other people? Dad, you want me depending upon you, do you? Anyway, I wrote him this long this email back on my AOL account, talking about, I believe in me. I got this. I understand the situation. I just don't have that circumstance right now readily available to me because my situation is much different than everybody in my family, my siblings, my cousins, people that I grew up with, people in our network. I'm different. And from that going forward, I officially became the black sheep of the family. Now, question for you to ask is, did it pay off, Matt? Did it pay off? 100% it paid off. I 100% got paid off. It paid off in terms of the bet I made on myself. Because now, if I put it out there, I told my father, told my mother, told people I love and care about what my intentions are. And here's my 5-step plan coming out. Now I'm holding myself accountable to that risk. But that's a risk. That's a gamble that I can pay because I know the odds and I control the odds. And I know if I play those odds and I play the variables in that formula, I know what the outcome is going to be. You see, becoming a millionaire, matter of fact, making your first $100,000 was probably the hardest thing for me because it was a mindset shift. People ask me, well, it was easy for you to make $100,000 or making $1 million a year? For me, coming from the upbringing I came in, broke, busted, disgusted, no rich family, worst credit score you can ever find possible, making the first $100,000 was harder for me than making $1 million. Once I got to $100,000, I said, you know what, I can do this. I got this. I just got to find a formula and how to multiply this 2 times, 4 times, 10 times, 20 times, 30 times to get me to a compounding income instead of a linear income that a job would provide. How do I compound my business? How do I compound my revenue and keep my expenses low? Those were risks I was willing to take. And guess what? It paid off. Praise God. It paid off. And by the way, guess what? Guess who retired their mom? Guess who retired their dad? Guess who took their father on a helicopter ride over Hawaii saying, Dad, this is what happens when you bet on you. Look at this, Dad. We're flying over the volcanoes of Hawaii. Look at this, Dad. This is the waterfalls of Hawaii. Look at this, Dad. And my dad says, come up front, come up front. Because he was sitting up in front seat of the helicopter. I was sitting in the back. He's coming front. Hey, Matt, take one of those pictures. Take one of those pictures. What is that? One of those pictures. I'm in the back. No. Take one of those pictures you do. Selfie? Take a selfie. I take a selfie with my dad. It's time to change his life. And he grabs me by the arm. So listen, I just want you to know, I haven't told you lately, and that lately's been a long time, that I am proud of you. I would prefer, Dad, he says, hey, son, I love you. But when a father says, I'm proud of you, that's just, I can't even say that. The words doesn't translate. By the way, what would you prefer from your dad? I love you or I'm proud of you? To my kids, it's both. But for my dad, if he can't say I love you, I'll take I'm proud of you all day. And when you are able to wrap your mind around risk, and that risk pays off, and the people around you are immensely blessed because you took that risk, because you had the courage to do so, because bravery and courage is not the removal of fear. It's having that fear and still having the bravery and courage to still move forward. Removal of fear is not what's required to become brave. It's not required to become courageous. It's knowing you're still scared, but you realize that your faith is greater than your fear. That the big man upstairs that says, man, I got you. All things work out for those that love the Lord. Right? If he is for me, who can be against me? You just move forward in faith. You're like, oh, this is a ride. This is a faith ride. I don't know what's going to happen here, but I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to stay stoic, keep poised, still depending on my work ethic. And guess what? All these things happen. You work hard at the right things. You keep poised, keep your bearing. Good things start to happen to you. Which leads me to my last one. Fifth key difference between rich people and middle-class people. There's an abundance mindset and there's a scarcity mindset. In the church, we call it the prosperity versus the poor. And here's the breakdown. Here's how rich people have an abundance mentality. Rich people believe that there's plenty of wealth and opportunities for everyone. Middle class often worry about running out of money and hold on to what they have. Their pension pennies. A penny saved is a penny earned. No, it's still a penny. I want to take that penny to make it a dime. I want to take that dime to make it a quarter. I want to take that quarter to make it $1. I want to take that dollar to make it 10. I want that 10 to make it 100, et cetera, et cetera. I want this money to compound, to work for me instead of me working for my money. And guess what? I realized that everybody can have their blessing. You know, we're talking about what's going on, the great wealth transfer, that in the next 5 years, they anticipate in the next 5 years, the $85 trillion of money is going to go from the silent generation, baby boomers, those two generations, to skipping my generation, which is the Generation X generation, which I believe is the sexiest generation created by God and humankind. Generation X. But skipping our generation, so silent generation, World War II generation, baby boomer generation, their kids, it's skipping over the Gen X and skipping over to the millennials and the Gen Z. $85 trillion of money is going to go from these generations over to this generation. So if I'm in an insurance business, if I'm in a financial service business, hello, that's opportunity. That's massive abundance. 85 trillion? Do you realize how big 1 trillion is? Listen, if I ask you right now to give me an example of how large 1 trillion is, let me give you two. But here's an example of how big 1 trillion is. If you counted right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, how long will it take you to count to 1 trillion? Do you want to know the answer? 33,000 years. 33,000 years for you to count from 1 to 1 trillion. 33,000 years. Here's another example. We're talking about Jesus. If you started spending, Jesus said, listen, at his birth, we three kings of Orient, one of the gifts, he gives you $1 million to spend every day. You have to spend it every day. If one of those gifts was you spending every day, $1 million every day, multiplied by 356 days a year, multiplied by 2024, 2025 years, you would not even be at a trillion yet. Be around 780 billion. You're not even at a trillion yet. So 1 trillion is a massive amount of money. It's a massive amount. And yet they anticipate $85 trillion of money going from one generation to another. Massive abundance. Why are people in the financial services world fighting with one another? Why are insurance agents bickering, fighting? Why are financial advisors bickering with one another? Trying to say, I'm the best insurance agent out there. I'm the best financial advisor out there. Listen, how do you know? Is there like a competition who the best financial advisor is outside of book value and assets under management and policies sold? How quantify that? How do you say you're the best insurance agent? How do you say the best financial advisor? How do you say the best financial professional? You don't. So clients are the ones that will say who the best is in their opinion. And there's not a leader's bulletin on that. There's not like a globe Oscar awards for financial advisors and financial professionals. So when you're thinking about abundance versus scarcity, is what happens when an opportunity is presented your way and it's going to take a majority of what you have left over. For example, I remember when I was in the military, I think I had about maybe $300, $400, $500 in the bank. And to get my insurance licenses, to get my securities licenses, to establish my business, to enroll and get some mentorship. It cost me well over $1,000. So I invested the entire $300-400 I had left in the bank account, wait for the next check to come in and then put some of that paycheck to the next set of licenses. And about a course of 4 to 6 months, I got all my licenses to get started my career in the financial services industry. Basically, my startup capital was $1,000 that I needed to take 2 weeks to create the full startup capital because I didn't have the $1,000 right away to get both licenses and get enrolled with the company and get started right away. I started getting with this license, and as paycheck came in, I took some of that money to get the next license. But some people, for example, right now is tax season. It's tax season coming your way. What do you do with the $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 you get from earned income credit and household filings and tax refunds? What are you doing with that money? Paying credit cards? Keep up with lifestyle again? Or are you using that money to invest in something that will help you create assets? See, that's the big difference between rich people and poor people, rich people and middle-class people. Rich people look at money, again, as a tool. And that's why they call money currency, because it's supposed to flow, not supposed to stop at a purchase. It's not supposed to stop in a funeral. It's not supposed to stop because somebody needs to borrow money. Money's constantly flowing. In other words, every time money is flowing, it's creating constant value for the recipient or whoever receives that money. Your money's supposed to be giving value to somebody else who's creating value, and therefore they bring that money to somebody. They spend that money with somebody else who's creating value. Right? That's why money is a currency. You got to plug. For example, I need to charge my phone. An electric circuit needs to provide a current. So in other words, your money is currency. If you plug your money to something, something should flow from it, not just a temporary high. So as I wrap up, hopefully you guys can use this table here for your use. Maybe you download this or screenshot it, put it in your phone. One last thought. Romans 12:12, it says this in scripture. It says, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is good, pleasing, and perfect will. I pray that you transform your mind, that you don't conform to people and try to keep up with the Joneses down the street, or people that you graduated with, or people that was at your family's wedding that you try to keep up. I remember I did that. I went to a family wedding and everybody had better cars than I did. I'm trying to keep up with everybody else. By the way, if I followed that line of thinking, I wouldn't be where I am today because it'd be too damn depressing. I just realized that there are different stages in life than I was. I was in a pay it now, in advance, in full, no discount mode. They're in the making money, spending money mode. We had two different realities 10 years later. We had much different realities 20 years later. We have much different realities 25 years later. They're still down here. My family, my wife, my kids are up here because I chose to think differently about now that we're doing job. Right? They're bouncing around like a pinball. But here we are. We are compounding our wealth because we're thinking differently about it, and where our contributions are different. The way we give back is different. The way we get involved in the community is different. We have make a much better impact because we think differently about money. If that's you, put in the comment section. If you had the courage to watch this video all the way until the end, put in the comment section, my money will make an impact. Please put that in the comment section below if you had the courage to watch this till the end of this video. With that being said, guys, God bless you. By the way, before you go, please watch this video here. I break down the parable of the talents in a little bit more profound way. Watch this other video here too as well in terms of how you can use scripture to inspire you to saying, you know what, it's okay to think prosperity, even though everybody around me is talking about poverty. It's okay for you to be a black sheep of your family, and it's definitely okay for you to be a black sheep of your church and your church family. Being said, God bless you guys, and please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Share this with somebody that you know. Maybe you guys can use this as a Bible study, but or maybe for your next financial workshop class in your company. With that being said, God bless you guys again from Dallas, Texas. I'm your money smart guy, and until we meet again, continue to live smart, continue to love smart, and be money smart today.